Good afternoon. This is Talking Trade Live with On the Tools, the weekly show where, as trades, it's your opportunity to get all your thoughts and comments off your chest, and we will discuss them for the next half an hour. My name's Andy, and I will be your host for the next half hour or so. And joining me today, two guests, one who's been on before, Andy Wilcox, self-employed electrician, and Darren Carter, who's new to his position at Construction Hub, which offers all sorts of advice, financial, forward planning, etc. But first of all, welcome to you both. Darren, can you just give a quick bio on yourself? Because despite working for Construction Hub now, you used to be a plumber.
Yeah, so I had a plumbing and heating company for over 10 years. Then a couple of years ago, I retrained as a financial advisor and just turned around and started working with construction companies, trying to help them with their finances. From there, I saw, a gap in the knowledge of, being a tradesman to being a businessman. So I started the Construction Hub, and that's really about, giving people an insight of how we can work better and be more efficient, put some planning in place, and really point people to industry specialists that can help.
Well, that's what I want to cover today is really sort of the position we found ourselves in. It's not going away next week. And as we sort of said a bit before we went live, Darren, was getting things in place, which us trades are generally rubbish at. So when we do have a crash or some sort of downturn, we've got money in the bank, and we've got sort of the company in a good position to sort of go through it. So if you're sitting there in your van having your break or at home watching, please send a comment. Any questions on advice to do with financial, running your business, and myself, Andy the Spark, and Darren from Construction Hub will go through all the answers we can to see what we can do to help. Now, first of all, Andy, you're on the show, I think, I've lost track now, 2-3 weeks ago. How have you found things in the last couple of weeks? Are you back at work? Because I know you said you were doing call outs, but is it sort of increased work-wise? Are you still fairly quiet?
It's the phone's not ringing at all, really. I need to get onto that case. I'm just sort of picking jobs up which were put back before, where it's safe to do so, where's the going, because the weather's so nice. It's nice doing sort of garden and lighting jobs like that. But the telephone's very quiet at the moment, so I need to work on getting some more leads in.
And Darren, are you finding since lockdown construction hubs have more inquiries, or is it more people reactive saying, help, I need some advice?
Yeah, I've had people generally needing advice. When it first happened, it was, with what schemes people were entitled to, where to go and look. What I did find, some construction businesses just sailed through. They just carried on working and completely unscathed. Probably more the commercial than domestic. But yeah, more the domestic guys, I'd say, have been in touch. What can they do? What schemes are available? And I think it's probably the ones that haven't put stuff in place, say over the last couple of years, that have been more affected.
Well, let's be honest, Andy, I think you're slightly more organised than most of us, but as tradespeople, we're not great with paperwork. It's something I've always sort of joked about, but the sad thing is it's true, because you learn your trade either through being an apprentice or at college or off a senior guy, and you go straight to work. You're not taught how to run your business. And is this something really we should be taking time out and learning, Darren? Because as you say, we get to this sort of position and suddenly it's panic stations.
Yeah. I think there's a big difference, let's say, between being a businessman and being a tradesman, and like I say, no one teaches us. When you're doing your apprenticeship, you don't get taught anything about the business side. I think accountants generally take the burden away from you, but I think people really need to get into understanding how their finances work. Even with things like marketing, having a presence online, website, or the social medias, and more construction specific stuff, tendering. That was a big thing I struggled with. No one teaches you how to tender for a job. So when I went to go from domestic to commercial, I didn't know what I was doing. So I think for those people that have got time off at the moment, it's a perfect opportunity to get some help. and start learning them things.
Amazing.
Andy, when did you learn all your sort of exactly that? You know, you're pitching for work, getting your paperwork in order, your accounts, working out what to do with money for VAT returns and CIS. When did you just literally have to learn it off your own back, or did you get help when you started?
No, I've been quite lucky, really. I've had what my wife calls a career portfolio. I've done quite a few jobs. So I always started off as an electrician. My dad always drummed into me when I was a young teenager. You must get a trade. You must get a trade. You know, you can always fall back on it. No matter, and God bless him. Thank you, Dad. He was right. I've managed to go back to trade all the time. It's always been there to save me. So anyone who's watching this, who's sort of sat there now thinking, oh God, why did I be a tradesperson? Honestly, out of all the jobs, if all you got to do is look on LinkedIn and places like that, there's lots of people on there saying they've been made redundant. But with a trade, you're always okay. It'll always come back. So thank God that he made me be an electrician, because I've always got that trade to fall back on. And then, when I first started my first electrical contracting business, I was terrible. I never had a website. I never did any marketing at all. It was all about who I knew, and I knew some builders, and I got jobs from them, and it sort of just fell into place. And then I got really interested in marketing. So I studied every sort of marketing piece that I could get my hands on, read every marketing book. I'd go to different conferences and I joined different organizations about marketing. And I really got quite good at it. And one of the organizations I was a member of, we're looking for people to go around the country, and what was called like a business growth advisor. Was what they really wanted were people that own their own business, like myself and sort of tradespeople, to go around and show other tradespeople how to market themselves. And so I applied for that job because I really wanted to do it. And that's the thing I love the most, really. And so I went and did that for sort of 4 years, and I eventually got promoted to the marketing director of the business, which is crazy because I haven't got any marketing qualifications at all. But really, you don't. Sorry, marketing people. It's all about learning about marketing and what you do. And so I did that for 5 years and learned everything about marketing. But I don't really like working in an office. So I got my tools back out, and that I had that background to know exactly what to do with the marketing, and it's paid off a treat. It really has. So I've done 2 apprenticeships already, one in electrics, one in marketing.
It's a good mix to have. And Darren, taking a step back, what are sort of, if you could pick 3 main points to give viewers advice on, as you say, a lot of us are still not working. What are the main things you've seen at Construction Hub, which people get in touch, really, whether in dire straits? Is it financial planning? Is it marketing? Is it websites? What are the things you would recommend for people to have a good look at now?
I think the first one is probably, understanding the numbers and finding a way that you can work to make things easier for yourself. So one thing we try and do is get people on accounting software that can, something like Xero, cloud software can run your business. You can take all the pressure of all the receipts. You just take a photo, let a bookkeeper handle that. But it's then looking at separating out some CIS money or some VAT money and understanding what is actually yours within the business and what is allocated to others. I think that takes a lot of pressure away from people, and is getting to learn them cloud softwares. And you don't even have to be an expert. You only need to be able to do a few things, and a lot of it can be automated, but that can free up a lot of time. I think the next thing is understanding who your sort of target market is. I probably had the mistake of doing domestic and commercial. I used to just take on anything, but what I should have probably done is looked more to the commercial, and then from there I can target my marketing.
Another 99.
Sorry, it's typical, isn't it? We have an ice cream van that passes the job every day. He's just rocked up. So apologies for the 99 plate calling. I won't disappear yet. Michael Murphy's put a good question in for us. Good comment. Thanks for getting in touch, Michael. If my bathroom installation company wasn't limited, I would be furloughed at around £2,000 a month. I take dividends and as a result get £500 a month, Andy, just like you and me. Yeah. And we work mainly with retail clients. Either way, any amount is helpful. Like to know your views on this. Andy, perfect question, because you and me are in the same boat.
Yeah, that I've got to say, I think the government have been fantastic. What they've done, apart from people like us, limited directors, what they've done for workers and what they've done for self-employed people has been brilliant. And at the beginning of this, because you and I are both sort of limited directors, sole directors, and we take dividends, we don't get any help at all, nothing at all. We can furlough ourselves and get that small payment of the PAYE, which you get every year. But if you're still doing little jobs like going out and doing little call outs, then I'm classed as working. So I can't even furlough myself. So at the beginning, I was quite bitter about it, and I joined some different Facebook groups about it, and there's a lot of bitter people about it, and quite rightly so, because everybody else is getting quite a good handout. But now I look at it a different way, because I actually learned this week that only 1/5 of the workforce has been furloughed. Skywell study for me, if you could. So that it's not the entire country. The entire country hasn't been furloughed. But the way I look at it now is that the government is supporting my customers to enable them to come back and pay me to do jobs for them. So at the beginning, I was bitter about not getting any money back, but now thankfully they are paying money to my customers so they can use me again. So I know we can get wound up about it, but actually there's nothing we can do about it. So we have to put a positive spin on it, unfortunately.
Well, do you know what? As a boss, what I was about to say, Darren, the big thing through this is, listen, we all were in the same boat. You know, you wake up, oh, I'm on furlough, can't work, I haven't got any money, today's going to be crap. If you think like that, that's how your day will turn out. But as Andy has just said, take the positives out of it, speak to someone like Construction Hub or get advice and use this in a positive way. You can turn your business around from something that bounces from one day to the next to be even bigger and more successful.
Yeah. I think the problem I had when I was on the tools is I was always firefighting. I didn't have an opportunity to actually take time out and look at what does the business need. You know, what avenues do I need to go down to grow? So yeah, like you say, I mean, you could sit in the garden and have a nice long summer, or you could put some time and effort in, you know, learning some skills off the tools.
Yeah.
You know, like Andy's done. Learn marketing. You don't need to be an expert, but you need to have an understanding so that if you do put it out to someone else to do, at least you know what value you're getting from that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not one for just sort of getting down and think, it's all doom and gloom. I do that for a little bit, and then right, how am I going to change this? What have I got to do to turn this around? And you know, the only thing you can do is do something positive. If you haven't got a website, you know, start planning for that. They take a while to do. That could take you 6 weeks. Get that set up.
Yeah.
You know, writing some content on theirs. You know, what tradesman can say, "Yeah, I love writing content." So
get someone else to get someone else to.
Yeah.
This opportunity now. At the beginning of this, it was a nightmare. The work stopped. There was no funding coming from anywhere. But I've got to talk about this bounce back loan thing, or one of my.
That was my next subject. So brilliant. Thanks, Andy. I think you've done it. Can you take us through? You applied in a few minutes, and next thing you get it through.
Fantastic. So what I was going to say, if you're sort of quiet at the moment, this is an amazing opportunity. Is a once in a lifetime opportunity. What we've got now, and one of my marketing colleagues has named it a bounce forward loan because you now have the ability to borrow. I think it's a quarter of your turnover, and you don't have to pay any money on it. You don't have to pay anything back for a whole year. The first year's interest is paid by the government. I think it's 13 months actually leeway you get from when the money goes in. And you can like, for instance, so say you turn over £80,000, you can apply and get £20,000, or you can get less than that if you want, up to £50,000, and you can get that money in. Now, there's a difference between good debt and bad debt, and bad debt is cars and massive TVs and stuff, things that depreciate.
Luxuries.
This would be a good debt because you would use it. I told you last time, my wife, the first thing she said was, "Oh, we can get some carpets for that." No, it's a bounce back or bounce forward we need in the business. And if you've never put any money into marketing or business growth or getting a coach or anything like that, you can use this money, this bounce back loan, to put some time and effort into you and some money into you. How many times have you ever said, "God, I wish I had $5,000 to do this and do that"? It's an amazing opportunity, and it's so easy. I had 20 grand in 4 minutes with my bank. It took me 4 minutes because I timed it to fill out the form. There wasn't even anything to type in. It was all tick boxes. Tick here. Do you turn over this? Da, 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 da. There's no credit check. It's crazy actually when you say it, but it's an amazing thing for self-employed people. This will never happen again. The rate's only 2.5%. I sound like I work for the bank, don't I? But it's such an amazing thing.
The big thing as well, he's back. Apologies. He clearly knows that I usually have a few at this time of day. The big thing as well, if you look at it, it's not personally underwritten. This is the big thing for me. My business overdraft, I have to personally underwrite. So if the limited company goes pop, I have to pay what the overdraft is out of my own personal income, if you like, or assets. Whereas this, the government have underwritten it.
Yeah.
So Darren, I don't know if you're too sort of clued up on it, but the way I look at this, as Andy says, is we will not get an opportunity as good as this. We've got no payments for a year. We can borrow a significant amount of money with what Andy said was a 4-minute application.
Yeah.
Sean Milligan's just sent a message in, same as Andy, got the bounce back loan scheme money within 24 hours. So
Amazing,
what we're seeing is this is an opportunity to go and, as you said, Darren, build a website, get stuff sorted, get your van insurance up to date. Is that good?
You know, knowing tradesmen as they, you know, of having that experience, use it for something positive. No, don't just take it. I've had questions, you know, should I take it in case there's some kind of investment opportunity or that? No, take it if you need it and invest it in your business. You know, the businesses that thrive off the back of this are the ones that are investing in the hard times. You know, history has shown that, you know, there's a lot of good construction specific coaches. Like I say, there's construction specific marketing people. Find someone that knows your industry and use them to help you progress the business. But don't waste it because it is a loan.
Get someone, if you don't know what you're doing with a website, get that bounce back loan and pay someone else a website developer to make one for you. It's such an amazing opportunity.
The big thing is it's where do you as an individual want to go and take your own company? If you're happy just struggling from day to day, then keep moaning and get on with it. Or if you think, right, I've got this opportunity, I'm going to get a website done, I'm going to get some business cards or company letterheads done and really push it forward. And as you said, Darren, look at who is your target audience. You know, I'm in my mid-40s. I still think I'm kind of getting there with who they are. It's a great opportunity. And one question I just want to go to, please send in comments for Darren, Andy and myself. Mark Francis said that this is an interesting point. Government has been good for some, but not for me. Went self-employed February 2019, did his tax return for 2018-19 and 2019-20. I'm going to continue to be self-employed. I'm ineligible for self-employed grant as my 18-19 earnings were mainly as an employed person. Not happy. Don't know why they can't take this into account. 2019-20 self-assessment as they've extended the furlough scheme. Your thoughts? Andy, it's back to the point. It works for some, what they've done in terms of loans and grants, but there's a lot of us not really being helped out.
I think the figures are they've helped 95% of the population, and there's 5% that they can't. And we're unfortunately, my mate, we're in that 5%, and I don't think there's nothing we can do about it.
I'm in the same as that as well, guys. My 2018-19 years when I retrained, and I still had, you know, I was still partially in the year I was a director at the plumbing company that closed down. Then my earnings while I was training were next to nothing. So I've started a new business, and you know it hasn't like flown, and I'm not earning what I was being 2 years in as I was when I left plumbing. And I've gone to look for help, and I'm the same. My earnings, you know, can't be topped up by any scheme.
Well, Lee Osborne, as Darren, you said about investing it, Lee Osborne has sent a brilliant comment, and his mate's just got 40 grand, which isn't a small amount of money, and he's going to put it all into premium bonds for a year.
Well,
would you? I mean, is that a viable option, or would you say put it into your own business? Because it's got to be paid back, hasn't it?
It's got to be paid back, but you can pull it out of premium bonds at the end of the year. You may have won some money, and you could just pay it back in full. So, you know, I think people are a bit getting creative in what they do with it.
Don't take a loan out to give to someone in Nigeria. Nigerian country.
You know what I mean? he could use part of it for looking at his business and plugging the gaps. But yeah, I think people are coming up with all sorts of ideas, and people are coming to me saying, "Oh, we're just going to take the money just so we've got it." Yeah, just don't forget it's a loan. So if people do some wonderful things, try and invest it in something outrageous. They should probably have a conversation, with someone like myself beforehand to give them the warnings, because you don't want to come out at the end of the year, have lost the 40,000. He's not going to in premium bonds, but lost your money you've taken, and you've still got to pay it all back. Then you're in a worse position than when you started.
But this goes back to what you said, Dan, about knowing your business properly. Now, do you need to borrow 10 grand, 50 grand, 100 grand? Because you should be thinking, right, my forecast of projections are X. I could do with borrowing 10 to get the website, get the company branding done, maybe do some marketing. So this goes back to really understanding your business better, which is obviously advice the Construction Hub do give out. Yeah.
And it's what I was going to say earlier was the businesses that have kind of sailed through this are ones that have put stuff in place. So every month we'll understand the numbers, we'll pull some money aside, like it's just like a savings account or like a float. And what we'll try and do is build in like 1 month's money so the company could survive for a month. And as time goes on, we'll just build it. So eventually the company will have, say, 6 months' money. But if coronavirus hits again, or you lose some contracts, or something bad happens in the business, you've got that money to survive. I think the fundamental principles of finance have always been the same. People who've got money are usually understand their money and shrewd with their money. I think probably being in the trades, or what I used to do is just live week to week or month to month. You get a bit of money, you spend it, you can go out and earn some more, but it's just being sensible and putting some aside.
Well, I think this almost goes back to what we were saying, that it's an age-old construction ethos. Is right, we're starting a new job on Monday, we've got some money coming in from that, and we do live from week to week. So this goes back to really, let's get rid of this. We were saying this before we went live, Pythagoras and ancient history and all that. Kids need to really understand what to do with their money properly, because it's, you think you're a labourer, you're a young lad or lass that gets his first role, gets paid at the end of the week. What do? They're skint by Monday. And this is sad. We've got to stop.
One of my old apprentices he come in one Monday and he had I said, "What'd you do?" He said, "I brought some like Yeezys or some trainers at like £400. I was like, that's over like 2 weeks' wages for you. Like, you're begging me like midway through the week for subs, and then you're going and wasting it on that." And it's exactly that. You need financial education needs to be taught in schools.
Yeah.
From a protection point of view as well, making sure you've got the right insurances in place, and just how money grows. Money makes money, but we never get taught about it.
No.
Well, one interesting point. Sean Milligan, he said, with the website, how do you get around copyright for photos? Now, Darren, I think I've got the answer for this, but it'd be interesting to hear yours. Copyright for photos, if it's your photo, you've got the full copyright. So if it's a picture you took of a job you've done on your phone, you can put it wherever you want. If you use someone else's photograph, you need, as I understand, to get their permission, or you can buy stock photos from various companies for something like 50p or a pound per image. But I would check, Sean, that your own photos, mate, crack on, use as many as you want on previous jobs or customers' houses or where you've worked. But if you pull one off the internet, just check the copyright on it and usually get in touch with them, or you can buy these. I think if you buy 10 at a time, it's slightly cheaper. But great is that Sean's taking this an idea of getting the website going, and I think websites, they're still doing well, even with social media, Darren. It's a lot of people wanting to have a bit of work done. People use websites still, not just social media. So they need to really be, I would say, one of your first ports of call for this lockdown.
Yeah, I think you need a whole sort of marketing strategy, and probably Andy will know more about this. But in my point of view, if you're looking at commercial, you're probably looking towards having a website as your, where people go to. Because people, I mean, you can use LinkedIn to find great contacts for work, and showcase your work on social media. But it's almost like people will click through and go and see your website. So it's having 3 or 4 sort of channels that people can go down and just see like what you do, get testimonials, see the quality of your work. I think it all plugs into kind of a whole strategy.
Andy, marketing guru for the UK across everything now. What would your advice be, mate? Listen, let's say people are looking at either restarting or are starting from scratch. As Darren says, there's actually a lot to look at. You've got all social media, you've got websites, you've got your branding, what your logo looks like. Which bits would you sort of start with? What are the most important things that you would give advice on?
Well, with your logo, there's no one that loves your logo more than you. Honestly, no one gives a damn about your logo. You've never looked through in the olden days in the yellow pages and gone, bloody hell, that logo looks good, I'm going to call them. So don't freak out about logos. No one really cares about logos. That's why mine's really simple. Now, one thing with trades, actually most businesses, but we're a little bit different because we get to go and see people, is we spend loads of money on leads, because you can buy leads from like places like Raise People and My Builder and stuff. You can buy leads, and sometimes some of those leads, I've seen leads for like rewires and things for like 30 quid. So you're spending lots of money on leads. So you can get leads in. The place where tradespeople fall down with their sort of marketing is the conversion. So they get all these leads in, which we bring at the top of the funnel. We bring it in, and then you need to have like a bulletproof process from the moment that you answer that phone call, and the stuff that you send them, that you go out and see them, and you send your quotation to them, because some people just like text things. You should email it and post it. That whole thing, which we call like a marketing funnel, until they plop out at the end. That is the first thing I'd work on, that conversion process from the moment that you answer the phone to that lead until the moment that they come out as a customer, and is really important, because there's no point like spending this bounce back loan on getting loads of leads in if you're absolutely terrible at converting people. So that is the first place I would start in a marketing journey.
Well, this is Talking Trade Live. We've got about 5 or so minutes left. We are talking about any financial advice you would like as viewers. Please drop comments. And also, if you've got any thoughts on what topics you would like us to cover in the next few episodes of this, again, please let us know. If it's advice on marketing, what type of van to get, anything along those lines. Obviously, we'd love to hear from you to see, what we can do to really help out and give advice. I think just sort of back to your story, Darren. Obviously, you used to be a plumbing and heating engineer. Now you're very different, sort of what you're doing with the Construction Hub. What made you sort of wake up one day and think, do you know what, I've had enough. I need something different. And because there's a lot of people probably thinking exactly that with this lockdown. And was it hard going from that to this new job with all the training?
I think to start with, it was a combination of things. I think when I had my son, I got tired of, or my tolerance in like running around doing things for people and wasting all my time where I didn't have to kind of ended. I think I tried to grow the business in a number of ways. I tried to have experienced guys. I tried, having youngsters. I tried to mix, and whichever way I went, I kind of realised I was the business rather than other people, and I didn't really sort of have a business. Everyone wanted me rather than sort of sending other people to the job. So my time was just not used well. I was running around. I was quoting till 12 at night. I was back up at 6. I could work a whole day without a break just to get 15 minutes with my son. So that's what kind of started it. Then I looked into other types of careers. I was thinking of going more in construction management, sort of just moving off the tools. But it was just a chance encounter with my best friend works for the company. And he said, why don't you have a look at this? It's just about you and being able to interact with people, and it's all on you. So I had a look, and it kind of fitted perfectly for me. I'd got a background where I went to university, so I'd used to learning. Even when I trained in plumbing, I quickly went on to gas, done solar, ground source, air source. So I was always learning all the time. So it's very similar to plumbing in that it's learning how small components work and finding a way to sort of plug them in and utilize them all together. So it's just I don't have to get dirty nowadays.
Well, unfortunately, we're just about to run out of time. Just very quickly, a friend of the show, Jen Gardner, has asked, if your own bank isn't offering the bounce back loan, can you go with any other bank? The answer, as far as I can see, is yes. Some banks are difficult. We had a comment earlier, Santander was seeming to be quite tough. But if your bank isn't answering or helping, Jen, yeah, by all means, there's you can go on and see which other ones are sort of nearby. Or obviously, as Andy did, you can do it online, so it doesn't matter where you are. Martin Lewis and Stanya, ask Martin Lewis about these issues. Martin Lewis is brilliant. He's done a lot of good, helpful stuff. So just Google him. But that is about it. We've just hit 1 o'clock. Unfortunately, the ice cream man has gone, so I'm going to miss that. But it's been lovely having you all on board. Darren and Andy, thanks ever so much again. And after we finish, please drop some comments in about any topics you'd like to cover us on the show moving forward. But the sun is shining, so we're all back to get on the tools and enjoy the rest of the week.